You're looking at your bird, watching them stalk around the kitchen, throwing things and picking up anything they can reach, when suddenly it dawns on you. What you're looking at isn't a bird at all, but a tiny, extant dinosaur.
Though your parrot may resemble a tabletop T-Rex, they're actually less related to theropod dinosaurs than a chicken or a duck. But we'll get to that later. For now, I'm Anna, this is BeanDip, and today we're diving into the wonderful world of dinosaurs, both the extinct ones and those that still fly today. So you're probably familiar with Archaeopteryx as the earliest modern bird ancestor. But recent studies have shown that some bird-like traits might have come around even earlier than Archaeopteryx got on the scene. In 2018, Jasmina Wyman, a 2020 PhD candidate, developed a laser-based method for figuring out the colors of dinosaur eggshells. This allowed her to determine that colored eggshells evolved somewhere around 157 million years ago, which is about the same time it is believed that brooding, or sitting on one's eggs, evolved. We know this because a lot of the blue eggshells are an indication that a bird or a dinosaur sits on its eggs. 7 million years later, about 150 million years ago, a raven-sized animal with teeth, aerodynamic feathers, and a bony tail evolved. This was the earliest known bird relative, Archaeopteryx. Things got interesting 128 million years ago with the evolution of Microraptor. This was a bird-like animal with 4 feathered limbs that likely couldn't fly or lift itself off the ground, but glided from tree to tree. After that, there's a big gap in the fossil record, and we jump to the late Cretaceous, 86 million years ago, and Ichthyornis. Ichthyornis would have looked kind of like a gull, but with teeth. This was a North American bird-like creature that pretty much looked for fish along the shorelines. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the most exciting, most famous theropods. The ones you already know, like Velociraptor. Velociraptor came about around 74 million years ago, but it wasn't quite like the Jurassic Park movies. Velociraptor likely had some feathers, though it couldn't fly, and this has been determined from the shape of the wishbone that just wasn't the right shape for Velociraptor to fly. It also would have been a little smaller than what we saw in Jurassic Park. Velociraptor would have been around 100 pounds, like the size of a large dog. Like modern birds, velociraptors had hinged ankles, swivel-jointed wrists, and forward-facing toes. Then at 68 million years ago, Tyrannosaurus rex came about. Let's take a break from thinking in millions of years ago, and let's swoop all the way up to 2005, when researchers in Antarctica discovered one of the most revolutionary fossils ever in the history of birds. This was Vegavis Iaai. I have absolutely no idea how you pronounce that, but it was a diving bird. Vegavis Iaai had skeletal features unique to modern birds. It also had a syrinx. This is the noise-making quack box found in modern ducks and geese. Vegavis lived around 67 million years ago and is probably the most recent relative of modern birds, other than the one we're going to get to next. Meet
Wonder Chicken.
Ichthyornis, or Wonder Chicken, lived 66.7 million years ago. This is a unique species because it's likely the last common ancestor between Asteriiformes, which are the ducks and the geese, and Galliformes, which are the chickens and the landfowl. It was likely a shore-dwelling bird with long legs. The other important thing about Ichthyornis is this bird lived right before the mass extinction event that wiped out all the non-avian dinosaurs. This is super important because this means that birds were birds before the asteroid hit. This means that birds didn't evolve after the dinosaurs died off. They were around with the dinosaurs, the non-avian dinosaurs.
BeanDip, come!
It's thought that only about 3 groups of modern birders evolved before the asteroid and then survived it. This was, of course, followed by an absolute explosion in avian diversity when new niches opened up due to the absence of the now extinct dinosaurs. So we made it. We're at modern birds. But there's a little more to the story. Which birds are most closely related to dinosaurs? Well, it's not super hard to see. It's going to be the ostriches, the cassowaries, and the emus that are most closely related to theropod dinosaurs. And remember how earlier I said something about chickens being more closely related to dinosaurs than parrots? Well, the landfowl, which are the chickens and turkeys, and the waterfowl, which are your geese and ducks, are the second most closely related group to the dinosaurs. Several ancestors down the line, you have the vultures and the raptors. They're less closely related to dinosaurs than penguins, but more closely related than parrots and falcons. Parrots, falcons, and perching birds are almost the farthest birds you can get from what we think of as true dinosaurs.
That pretty much wraps up the timeline of dinosaurs to birds. Big thanks to Source 1, National Geographic, which inspired this video.
Birds, birds are dinosaurs. Birds, birds are dinosaurs. If you're ready to learn more, let's learn about some dinosaurs. Oh, well, we started with the brooding of the eggs, then we moved to the feathers that allowed aerodynamic flight. After that, we had some dinosaurs that were non-avian but still had feathers. Then there were the little dudes who glide through the trees. But the problem with these is that they couldn't leave the ground yet. Then there were the shorebirds. Oh my gosh, more birds. I can't take this. We're in the Cretaceous. Talking about the theropods, velociraptor, Tyrannosaurus was in this group. If your parrots ever ruined your floor, just imagine that dinosaur poop. Last there were the coastal birds that quack like a duck. They survived the mass extinction. Oh, what luck. Right after the asteroid, their numbers blew up. And now we have birds. 'Cause birds, birds are dinosaurs. Birds, birds are dinosaurs. If you're ready to learn more, go read about some dinosaurs. Hey, thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment letting me know that you want to see more of this type of project. Additionally, I now have a Patreon account. It's brand new and it's only $2 a month. Definitely go follow that if you can. Have a great rest of your day. Train your dinosaur a new trick. Eat a cookie for dinner if you want. Bye-bye. Let's learn about some dinosaurs. Oh, well, we started with the brooding of the eggs, then we moved to the feathers that allowed aerodynamic flight.